What's up, everybody? I'm going through and rereading a bunch of the most top rated, highly recommended business, personal finance, personal development books, and giving you guys kind of the overview on it so that you don't actually have to read the books. One of the first ones that I'm going to do is The Richest Man in Babylon. This one here. It is one of my favorites because it takes pretty simple concepts already, but ones that people tend to overcomplicate, and it reduces it down even further through a series of stories and parables that make learning the information memorable, fun, entertaining, and pretty good. I really liked it. I've read it a couple times, and I always recommend it to a lot of people. So, um, one of the biggest takeaways that I got from the book itself was to find experts in the field that you want to seek information specifically and trust those experts. Like, you wouldn't trust the brickmaker. The example that it uses is that you wouldn't trust the brickmaker to tell you about jewels, to know about jewels, right? And to avoid get rich quick schemes and things like that. On the same token, you shouldn't trust um, like the local fisherman to tell you about bricks, right? Trust the expert in what they know. If you want to know about fish, you go to the fisherman. If you want to know about bricks, you go to the brickmaker, and that kind of thing. So stay with the experts. The way to divide your money is 7/10 for living expenses, 1/10 to keep and save for yourself for future investments, 1/10 for charity and that kind of thing, and 1/10 to save to pay your debts. If you do have a high level of consumer debt, like credit cards, car loans, car payments, that kind of thing, I would recommend having like cutting in half your charity 10th, and taking both your savings 10th and your debt 10th, and combining all of that. So really you're using 7/10 for living expenses, 1/20th for charity, and 2.5 tenths for paying your debts. Once you're free of your debts and you have a little bit more wiggle room, then you can go back to 7/10 for living, 1/10 to charity, like you should, like 10%. 1/10 for saving and potential debts. That's also where you can build up your emergency funds. And then 1/10 for investing. A few key points that the book brings up is be consistent. Again, avoid the get rich quick schemes. Invest in what you know. If your realm of comfortability is the IT world, uh, invest in IT companies, invest in other people who are like minded. If you're in the sports realm, invest in sports. Like, if you're completely unsure about something, somebody can totally take you for a loop. It's stereotypically like the scenario when ladies take their cars into the mechanic. A lot of times, some mechanics get bad raps for trying to overcharge and do different things because they think that the ladies don't know what they're talking about. And a lot of times that's true. It's kind of the same scenario. Like, stay with what you know, trust in your experts, and don't invest or try to get in business with somebody who is gonna screw you over like that. That's always a bad idea. So associate with those who have what you want. The big saying nowadays is you're the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So associate up. If you have people around you who are always complaining and aiming low in life, that's where you're gonna be. If you're around people who are making money, who are investing wisely, who are building businesses and constructing things, you're gonna be in that kind of social circle too. So, learn to multiply your money. Learn your skills. Always be advancing your skills. Don't just stop at one level, assuming that you know everything that you think there is. There's always somebody who can teach you something. So, live on less than what you make. Always. That's where the 7/10 comes from. have a plan. That's a big one that a lot of people neglect. They're like, oh yeah, I've got the plan in my head. This is kind of where I want to be in 5, 10 years or whatnot. But they don't write it down and they don't actually think it through. What is it going to actually take to get you where you think you want to go? Have a plan. And it never hurts to bounce it off somebody. Have somebody to kind of look it over with you and be like, hey, have you thought about this aspect? Or what if this does work out for you? You know, that kind of thing. Limit your vices. That can be gambling, alcohol, drugs, um, dating, spending too much, shopping sprees, all kinds of things. Limit your vices, because a lot of people, where they get in trouble is once they get their consumer debts under control and they're living under their expenses and everything, below their means. What they think they have left, they tend to up their vices instead of saying, "Oh, I can spend this much a month on it. Now I can spend this much a month." Don't think like that. Just get rid of your vices completely, and both physically, mentally, spiritually, monetarily, you'll be in a much better place. So, um, pay your debts and become an expert in your field. You're paid for what you know, the expertise that you bring, and how hard you are to replace. If you're able to teach a bunch of people what you do, you're going to be more valuable than the guy who just kind of sits in the back and doesn't really do much, you know. It's a lot of super easy information. The parables and the stories, a 6-year-old can understand it. A 4-year-old could probably understand it if you can get them to sit still. All the way up to 85, 95, 130. Like, everybody can easily digest this information and understand the stories in a way that makes sense for them. So that's why I really like the book and why I always recommend it. So